And I'm proud to say once again, welcome back. This is episode 4 in this series, and we got more episodes to come from, but let's focus on this one. That's right, we're going to say hello to the Union Jack, and we're going to salute Her Majesty as we take a look at Britain's most popular game shows. Unfortunately, I only have 2 of their game shows in my collection, but nonetheless, we're going to have a whole lot of fun of doing that, with some interesting content along the way too. And you could tell, I'm ready for this episode to salute the greatest game shows in the UK because, first off, I'm wearing a jacket that's made by Soul of London. It's great to be behind the scenes and in front of the camera to show you guys my collection again, but let's get right to the chase. Board game number 1, we're going to review. This was a show that was originally produced in America from 1980 to 1982 on NBC, hosted by the Dean of Game Shows, Mr. Bill Cullen. It's called Blockbusters, and never had one time has a shape ever got so popular that all you have to do is just say the name of the shape, and people will connect it to this very show. Now, after a 2-year American run, it went over the waters and straight to the UK, where it lasted for more than a decade, and plenty of revivals too. And let's face it, it is a great show over in the UK, and the hexagon, that's the shape I wanted to say. The hexagon has never been so popular up until Blockbusters premiered. So I have a board game from it, and trust me, it was one of the first board games that I've had in my collection. You have to go back to 2006, Value Village. I saw this, and I knew this was from the UK. Yeah, the picture of Ball Holness, rest his soul. And I told my mom, look, we're never going to have another opportunity like this again, so can I buy it? She said yes, it was worth $4. It was the best $4 I ever spent in the summer of 2006. But enough about my personal stories. Let's talk about the Blockbuster in the UK. Blockbusters.
As grand as its theme song, the Blockbusters game from Waddington's was the sharpest game on the block, and Buster, it stood out. Anytime you have the host gracing the box, you know stuff's about to go down. Rest in peace, master of the hexagons. And now off to the items, and if you're worried about the amount of questions, fear not. There are like oodles of them into this game board. On top of that, you have a die to determine who's going to go first, and the piece de resistance, the main game board. And boy howdy, for a 3D design, this is awesome. Now, on top of that, you're able to switch the letters around whenever you see fit. Oh, on top of that, look at the blocks right there for the game. Now for the rules of Blockbusters. You're going to answer a correct question that starts with the letter that's up on the board, and if you're team green, you go from left to right in as few as 5 moves. If you're team white, you go from top to bottom for as few as 4 moves, and that what makes Blockbusters. It's a game of strategy, speed, and knowledge. Let's take a look for example. Say, for example, I want to go for the letter N. If I buzz in and answer the question correctly, I win the block. There we go, and as you can see, I made Blockbusters. Gotta love the hand jive. Yeah, buddy.
Alright, up next, I have this little module right here. It's going to become ever so important when I talk about this next board game. And this has been an institution in the British airwaves for a long time. And the only time I need for this is 30 seconds. For you game show fans, if you know the tune in the first 5 seconds, then you know what I'm talking about. Ready, and go. This is a game based on numbers and letters. Do you want to come up with the longest word? You have to come up with a conundrum. Try to reach the target number before time expires. That's right. As this time ticks away, I am talking about Countdown. Hosted by Richard Whitley with Carol Vorderman. Now has Rachel Riley. An 8 out of 10 Cat special with hosted by one of my favorite British comedians of all time, Jimmy Carr. It's one of those game shows that has spawned the airwaves, and it's been enjoyable in the tea time. So let's take a look at Countdown.
You know Countdown could easily be played with pen and paper, but this is a board game show. I gotta get the board game. So let's go look at the items. There you go. The cards for the consonants and vowels and the dice for the numbers game. And here you go again, the star, the 30-second timer. And out of those 9 consonants and vowels mixed up, I came up with the longest word, guys. Now to the next round.
Alright, I'm going to show off how big of a number whiz I am. We're going to start off with 2 big numbers, which is 125, off to a good start. And my 4 small numbers, 3, 6, 4, and to close it off, 10. So I got a little bit of help here. My target is 381. So my target is 381. Here we go. Alright, so I got it. The closest I got was 375, and this is how I did it. 100 times 3 is 300, 6 plus 4 equals 10, 10 times 10 is 100, so you do 100 minus 25 is 75, and you add the 300 and the 75, and you got 375. So I was 6 away from that, so I'm going to get some points for that. If you were able to get 381, let me know in the comments section below. Okay? Good. That's a wrap here on the GameShow show, and as always, thank you all for watching. It's great to be back in front of the camera to show you some of my board games in my collection after a brief hiatus. But I'll tell you this, the next episode is going to be an interesting one. I always say that, but you have to believe me on this one. I'm going to highlight some of the board game adaptations of the game shows created by Bob Stewart. Now, all of you are asking, who is Bob Stewart? You know, in the 50s and 60s, he worked with another dynamic duo in the world of game shows. I'm sure you've heard of them, Mark Goodson and Bill Todman. And it was in the 1960s where Bob decided, you know what, instead of becoming a game show prince, I want to become a game show king. So he made his own company. He had a lot of game shows that spanned the airwaves from the 60s up until today, and they're still going strong ever since. I got a couple of board games that really reveals his likeness and all of his ideas. So trust me, it's going to be a good episode. And we're going to take a look at another new board game that I have in my collection. I wonder that might be. You're going to have a great time watching this episode, and I hope you enjoyed watching this one too. Okay, that's it. Till then, this will be your boy, the Frostfather, Aaron Sanders. So long.